If you want to make millions of coins every single day in Madden 25, then you need to try out the sponsor of today's video, Mud Exchange. Mud Exchange is by far the best all-in-one Madden coin making tool you guys can pick up right now. There's so many different tools out there on this app that you guys can use every single day to make millions of coins. For me personally, my favorite right now is the Snipe Spotter. I feel like this is their bread and butter. Essentially, snipes are going to pop up. You're going to buy these players, you're going to sell these players, and you are going to make so much bread. But that is not all. Mud Exchange has so many different tools on their platform for you to use. If you guys do want to try out Mud Exchange today, go down to the link in the description and use code MOSHI for 5% off your order. And once again, thank you, Mud Exchange. Let's hop into the video. Yo, what is good, fellas, and hope you boys are all having a fantastic day, and welcome to March's updates of the best abilities in Madden 25. Now, before we hop into the best abilities and X factors at each position, we do have a few quick small things to go over. One, happy March 1st. It is the first day of March. Typically in March, Madden gets very good. I'm not saying February wasn't good, but like March is when we start to get some really cool and unique promos. Probably my favorite part about March though, this is when 0 AP discounted abilities really start to get pushed out by EA. So knowing exactly what is the best abilities to be looking for, I'm telling you, it's only going to be beneficial. Now this weekend I am currently away. I left Friday. I'll be back super early Sunday morning, but today is Saturday. It actually happens to be March 1st, so it kind of works out perfectly for me. But for those of you wondering where is the Ultimate Legend content, I will be covering that Sunday. Do not worry. If you're new to the channel, go down there and subscribe and drop a like if you have not already, and let's dive into the best abilities at every single position in Madden 25 Ultimate Team. I mean, March is really where the discounted abilities start to take off. Before, you could get away with the player not having the craziest ability stack, but their stats were very good. Now abilities are really starting to become meta. For me personally, this is when Madden becomes the most fun. We all know how hard it is to get stops in this game. Objectively, having good defensive abilities makes it easier to get stopped. If you've noticed players' defenses are getting a little bit better, I am telling you that is because of abilities. Before we get to defense though, we do have to get to offense. And I do think EA does a good job at balancing out defensive abilities with offensive abilities when it comes to your quarterback. This right here is where you're going to want to spend a majority of your offensive AP. For me personally, the NFL honor cards all have really good stacks of discounts. When it comes to X factors on quarterbacks, for me personally, I am a big fan of Gambit, faster passes that can't be picked off by an AI. I have been saying I am a fan of this ability basically since X factors became a real deal. I know people really like dots. I know people also are a big fan of bazooka. Trez is fun, but more fun as an ability. Something new with Madden 25 right now are these X3 X factors. I really don't recommend you guys run any of these. Some players like 96 overall Reggie White from the Super Bowl Blitz promo have something called unstoppable X factors. Those are something you are probably going to look to run, but these X3 or XX factors for AP, I don't necessarily think you need to run them. If you can find one that's free, like fast break, by all means go for it. On a majority of players, I don't necessarily think it is worth rocking out AP on the X factors. Just a quick little note, I am recording this video before the Combine promo does go live, so there is a very good chance Combine players do have really good glowing X factors, and if that is the case, I promise you we will cover it in depth before this video does go live. So if I say something completely different specific to the Combine players earlier in the week, trust me then. Now, ability-wise on quarterbacks, I think the most important thing on a quarterback is still going to be Gunslinger. It grants a faster throwing animation. Every single quarterback in this game has a different animation. Some are faster, some are slower, some throw a faster deep ball, some throw a faster short ball. Gunslinger speeds up every single animation. Now in Madden 25, there is a little bit of an issue with Gunslinger where it kind of leads to more overthrows than normal. There are a few quarterbacks that seem to not be affected by it. I know Zero Chill RG3 is one of them. As somebody who uses 97 overall Jaden Daniels, he definitely gets affected by it, but I still don't think that should deter you away from Gunslinger. This ability is top tier. Now right after Gunslinger, I have three abilities that essentially do the exact same thing. The first one is going to be Backyard QB. This grants 4 additional hot routes and fast playmaker reaction. Very similar to Hot Route Master and Master Tack that we have talked about, but quarterbacks are beginning to get Backyard QB for a discount. This does not have Conductor baked in like Master Tack, but it still has the faster playmaker reaction. And a lot of quarterbacks we are getting are having 0 AP Conductor, and if you can toss on 1 AP Backyard QB, you're in for a good time. You can really build a god stack on your quarterback. Backyard QB, in my opinion, is the best way to go because of the way it is getting discounted right now. Of course, the reason you you are really looking for those are those additional hot routes. We have talked about those additional hot routes in depth, so I don't want to go too deep in them, but just know 4 additional hot routes, zig routes, crosser routes, you are going to want to have the ability to run them. And with Hot Route Master, you get those additional hot routes on every single position. The final hot route ability of the trio is going to be Master Tack. Now, typically this will be the most expensive one. Master Tack grants you faster and bonus hot routes, as well as that quick playmaker reaction that we talked about with Backyard QB. This is the best, but typically is very expensive. But with more discounts coming out for the quarterback position, I do want to add in 2 brand new abilities to the best ability list. This month, we're going to talk about Set Feet Lead. This gives you increased throw power while leading bullet passes with set feet. That does exactly what it sounds like. It allows you to throw the ball faster when throwing bullet passes, meaning it gets to your receiver faster. More velocity on your balls, as weird as that sounds, is something you want to have. When you have set feet, it is very good. Now, for basically all of Madden 25 so far, this has been a very expensive ability and really not feasible to toss on quarterback. And like on this Jaden Daniels, you really should not run it. But again, this is supposed to last the entirety of March. You can come to this video on March 23rd, and I promise you there is going to be a quarterback that has discounted set feet lead. That is meta because this ability is very good. The other one I want to toss in here is going to be Pass Lead Elite. Increased throw power when leading a bullet passes. Very similar to set feet lead, except it is increased throw power when leading your bullet passes. We all know about the loop blitz. We all know about those meta man blitzes. So being able to get the ball out faster, the reason why Gunslinger is very good, makes these 2 abilities right here very, very good. And if you can fit them onto your quarterback, you are going to want to do so. And the last ability with quarterbacks that I am a big fan of is going to be gift wrapped. Higher chance to complete passes to uncovered targets. If you have 1 AP to spare, you should run gift wrapped. I do consider this an S tier quarterback ability. Drops are so annoying in this game, and well, gift wrap essentially removes that for you. Unless you're using Genkai Force, Cameron Jordan at wide receiver or tight end, that card has 25 catching. He's not catching anything. Moving over to running backs, I do like to spend the most time on quarterbacks because, well, quarterback is the most important position on your offense, but when it does come to running backs, I really only have a few thoughts on this. X factor wise, if you can get angry runs on your running back, you are going to want to run that. That ability is objectively broken. There are a few cards that gets it right now. I haven't seen the Combine promo, but I'm going to assume there's going to be an angry runs glowing X factor running back coming with that promo. Freight Train is pretty good. I like Rack 'em Up, Yak 'em Up. Both of those are solid on your running back. And besides that, you really want to toss on Angry Runs or Freight Train. When it comes to the abilities, I really don't think there's anything too crazy you should be running except Tank. Tank on your running back is so broken. It breaks every single hit stick tackle. I mean, fellas, have you ever played against a running back and you have a perfect hit stick in the backfield and they bounce off it and take it for 5 positive yards? That is Tank at its finest. If you have not tried out Tank this year, I'm telling you, you are missing out. Tank on your running back is so broken. Evasive and Jukebox are pretty cool. I don't really consider them a must run unless you have them at a significant discount or have extra AP to use. I've been hearing from some people that Balance Beam is also pretty good. I personally have not tried this one out, but again, I have heard from some people if you have some extra AP on offense, Balance Beam could be a play. Taking a look at the wide receivers now, really nothing too crazy here when it comes to the X factors. Again, you really aren't going to want to spend any AP on them, but Double Me is always pretty solid. Rack 'em Up and Yak 'em Up are also pretty good. When it comes to the abilities, obviously Tank is still going to be good on wide receivers. I do prefer to run it on running backs. And then when it comes to the abilities, Route Tech and Slot-O-Matic for me are the only 2 that I would consider running. Route Tech gives quicker cuts while running routes. It's basically short out, deep in, and all of these ones right here combined into one ability. The issue with it right now, it is very expensive to add on to your team. And then Slot-O-Matic right here basically makes your slot wide receivers 10 times better cuts and catching on short slot routes. Issue with this, it is still expensive to run. But once you can get Slot-O-Matic zig routes, they are going to be great. I'm gonna talk on tight ends for like 2 seconds. If there's any position that doesn't need anything, it is going to be the tight end position. Once we get Vanguard as a glowing X factor or an ability, it is going to become even better. But right now, it's not the craziest thing in the world. When it comes to abilities, again, I don't think you need to run anything on them, but Tank is very fun. Bruiser is also a good time. Then, of course, any of the wide receiver abilities that we just talked about will be good to go on your tight end. Let's talk offensive line, because offensive line abilities abilities are becoming a must-have. With more players getting Edge Threat and Edge Threat Elite at a significant discount, you are going to need to have Edge Protector on each and every single one of your tackles, which I guess you only have 2 offensive tackles, but Edge Protector is becoming a requirement in my opinion. This right here is the most important tackle ability. And after that, I think Secure Protector on any offensive lineman is a good one to toss on there as well. This offers up stronger protection versus quick block shed moves. I think Threat Detector is becoming more and more important. This highlights blitzes during pre-play on 3rd and 4th down. Might seem very situational, but if you're able to see where your opponent is blitzing from and be able to pick that up on your blocking scheme, telling you, very crucial, especially on those big 3rd and 4th downs. Then a tier under all of those, I think Nasty Streak, Dominant Impact wins against DBs and linebackers. If you run the ball a lot, you are going to want to have at least 1 Nasty Streak on at least one of your guards. Linchpin is good. It's definitely not as good as it used to be. Then we have Run Protector and Pass Protector. Stronger protection versus quick pass block shed moves. And then of course for Run Protector, stronger protections versus quick run block shed moves. Let's slide on over to defense and talk about what exactly you need to be running on your middle linebacker. This is going to go for all user cards in general. When it comes to glowing X factors, I don't think there's anything too crazy. Like Enforcer is really fun. Same thing for like Unstoppable Force, which we will get to. But in my opinion, the best abilities to be running on any defensive player is going to be Universal Coverage. I guess your middle linebackers don't get, but we will get there in a few. Essentially, it's every single KO and knockout in one, which like we all know how good KOs and knockouts are, right? When it comes specifically to your middle linebackers, I think there are a few ways you can go. You can go with a Lurk Artist, which I do think is the best route to go. Some players get it for 0, most linebackers or user players get it for 1. Secure Tackler is cool. Don't think it's a requirement, but if you have some extra AP to toss on, this is going to be good. Number 2 for me is going to be mid-zone KO. Again, KOs are king, and well, if you can toss on a KO on your middle linebacker or a secondary user, more KOs, the better in my opinion. When it comes to edge rushers, these are going to be your defensive ends or your outside linebackers. There is a reason we are on this DeMarcus Ware card. Unstoppable Force as an ability is objectively broken. Now, edge protectors can counter it sometimes, but I'm telling you, Unstoppable Force for 4 AP, if you can fit it anywhere on your team, you must do that. It is so good. It basically just disrupts everything, gives you auto sheds, and just destroys your opponent's offense. Other than that, there are a few other things you could go on your defensive ends. Double or Nothing is still good. It's been very good since the beginning of Madden. Grants dominant pass rush wins at twice the cost. I haven't mentioned a film study yet, but this shows offensive plays after repeated play calls. You can run this on any defensive player, and it does exactly like it sounds. If you're playing somebody who is spamming that annoying double pass, you can see when he is coming out here in double pass. It is a little bit expensive right now, but if you have room for it, it is very good, especially with this double pass offensive meta we are currently going against. Play is so annoying, and being able to see when it is coming can be huge for you. Edge Threat and Edge Threat Elite are what I personally run on my edges. Dominant pass rush moves from the edge. This is the reason we are so big on edge protectors right now. When you go up against somebody who does not have an edge protector, Edge Threat is just going to shred. Edge Threat Elite is essentially Edge Threat, but just objectively better. Some would say it's even more elite. You run no outsiders on your ends, but right now I don't think that is too crazy. The run game is not nearly as good as years past. Let's slide on into the interior of your defensive line. For me personally, there is only one thing I want to be running, and that is going to be inside stuff. Quick run sheds against inside zone plays. You need to have at least one inside stuff on your defense at all times. The run game isn't as good, but inside stuff is a requirement. You want to be able to blow up inside zone. If you don't have an inside stuff, your opponent will be able to run inside zone on you fairly easily. If you do have an inside stuff, you will not be able to get ran on. And again, clock management in Madden is kind of important. So being able to control the defensive line with inside stuff, I think it is a must-have. Now let's talk about the most important position group in the entire game right now. And for me, that is going to be DBs. I'm merging in safeties and corners into one because you run fairly similar abilities on both of them. And when I mean fairly similar abilities, I really mean the big two. It is going to be all of the KOs, man and zone, and then of course pick artist. Most top tier DBs in this game are going to get 1 AP pick artist and mid-zone KO. You can run both of those abilities typically for 1 AP. When it comes to safeties, you're going to want to run a combination of deep zone and mid-zone. The reason we're on this Deion Sanders right here, he gets something called universal coverage, which again, we talked about being the best X factor. It's basically all of the KOs and knockouts in one. Well, he gets it for 3 AP as an ability. That means he has every single man and zone KO combined into one, and so he is just forcing knockouts left and right. If you guys watch my Fixing Your Team videos, we talk about picking up up Deion Sanders and running universal coverage on him because it is so good for pretty much every team if they don't have it. This is a must-have for literally anyone's team. That isn't groundbreaking or rocket science. We have talked a lot about those abilities in the past, but I am becoming a fan of inside shade, faster reactions to receiver cuts inside the numbers. This is good against post routes. Outside shade is good against corner routes. Then one step ahead, faster reactions to receivers cuts and man coverage. If you run a lot of man blitzes, you might want to start thinking about running one step ahead. And boys, with that all said, is March's updates of the best abilities in Madden 25 Ultimate Team. Let me know down below, what did you agree with? Did you learn something new? And if you enjoyed this video, sub and drop a like. Again, I am not home today, but I will be home Sunday bright and early for your fixing your team. If you guys do want to hop in on that video, get on there and join the Discord. Now, Kid was back here, I guess, tomorrow with another banger, probably later today. I got 3 videos scheduled to go live. Do not worry. For you guys, it's going to feel like a normal Moshi day. 3 videos every single day. But until I am back, peace, gents. I love you guys, and thank you for everything.